The video game industry is a cutthroat business. It's not meant for the faint of heart. This ain't your grandma's crocheting class. Video game industry is brutal, and it's oftentimes overlooked how strong and how noble the CEOs are at the upper echelon of the food chain. Those are the real heroes. Firefighters, second fiddle to video game industry CEOs. They are beacons of strength that we can all turn and aspire to. We get to suckle that sweet bosom they provide us with, and they're able to make the difficult choices that us mere mortals couldn't even fathom. Because in video games, you're only ever left with two options. Either one, you release a game that flops, loses a ton of money, and you're forced to lay off a ton of employees to recoup some of that loss. Or two, you release an extremely successful game, smashing sales records, smashing expectations, and then you're forced to lay off a ton of employees because you can get some more profit if you do. You can squeeze a little bit of extra pennies out and make a more strong bottom line. Again, just like the Sith, the rule of two. In video games, it's either get laid off because the game wasn't financially successful, or get laid off because the game was financially successful. Tough choice. And that's exactly what we just saw from Marvel Rivals today. Everyone's talking about it. Of course, I'm going to yap about it. I love the game. I have been enjoying the shit out of the game. I've been kind of taking a little break on it. I've been playing more Path of Exile and Rainbow Six Siege, but I still do love the game. And today, I was very excited because they released the gameplay trailers for The Thing and Human Torch, as well as a couple other announcements that were pretty hype. And both those new characters look amazing. And then, kind of like giving a dog a pill and peanut butter, it gave us the goodies and then fed us the medicine because turns out they laid off the entire North American division of the Marvel Rivals team. At least that's what the headlines are saying. It's not entirely clear everyone that's been laid off, but bare minimum we know for sure a game director that worked on Marvel Rivals as well as some level designers have been released. There are claims that some of the others were responsible for R&D work, but again, that's still not entirely confirmed as of right now. But anyway, let's go through the LinkedIn post here from Thaddeus Sasser. This is such a weird industry. My stellar, talented team just helped deliver an incredibly successful new franchise in Marvel Rivals for NetEase Games, and we're just laid off. Thaddeus is one of the game directors for Marvel Rivals. He is not like the sole director. He's not the preeminent god of Marvel Rivals. He's not, fucking Stan Lee to this game or anything, but he was still one of the directors of the game in a division of it, which is still unclear exactly everything they were responsible for, but regardless, they did play a role in the development of this game that is being enjoyed by hundreds of thousands of players every single day. You know what I mean? So it's still a pretty substantial position, I believe, from everything I've seen at least. And now he and his team have just been fucking slapped, thrown away like dirty laundry here. So he seems pretty upset, rightfully so, because you usually don't expect when your product is so good that you helped build, you don't really think that you're going to be the one on the chopping block, because, logically, that doesn't really check out. That doesn't pass the smell test. Hey, this thing is doing so well, we're going to celebrate by spitting in your face, get the fuck out, leave. Like, that's not something a lot of people expect, except in the video game industry. Because in the video game industry, all bets are off. There's no fucking telling who's going to get, flushed down the shitter. The only people safe are the CEOs, like the Ubisoft CEO, who is beyond brain dead. Somehow, the dumbest people on the food chain of the video game industry are the ones that get to keep their jobs, not the ones that actually build good shit. It blows my mind, really. And even if the majority of the people that were let go, and even if his team was primarily responsible for R&D, it's still just such a bad look to release them at the height of the game's success. Also, if they were only there for R&D, why were they permanent hires? Maybe I'm a little unfamiliar with the way things work at this level of game development, but typically I feel like if you're just going to have them as temporary workers on your project, they'd be contract workers as opposed to full positions. You know what I mean? But that might just be my naivete in the AAA gaming cesspool. And that has been a big discussion around this. Like, if they're all primarily focused on R&D, well, the game's fully out, so you don't really need that many devs still working around the clock on the title, because now the game's already out. You've already built the foundation. Now it's mainly about, developing new characters or new skins, that kind of thing, new maps or even new game modes, which some of them that were let go were level designers, so you could still use that expertise. They help design the levels. You're going to need more levels going forward. It can't just stay with the same ones that are in the game right now forever. Who knows, though? Maybe they were level design support and they feel like they don't need the supporters anymore, so they're going to cut the NA branch off and just do everything in China. It's still a little too early to tell, but the LinkedIn post continues, "Oh well, times are tough all over. Let's find these incredible people new jobs because we all need to eat, right?" And then he name drops someone named Gary McGee, who is a technical designer currently working on level design for Marvel Rivals, assumedly. And then he mentions, "A lot of our time on the project was spent as a sort of R&D branch, coming up with new level design mechanics, gameplay mechanics, and so on." And then mentions Gary was a key part of those efforts. So he does directly say a lot of their efforts was spent on R&D, and then lists gameplay mechanics and levels. Two things you're going to still need even past the R&D stage as you release more characters and more maps. But I think this is really one of those things where they're trying to save on costs, where maybe too many cooks in the kitchen. We don't need the North American branch of Marvel Rivals. We'll just do it all in China. So then they cut the team loose. They helped build it. The game is built and it's fucking crushing it. So now let's save a little money in the height of our success by getting rid of the NA branch. Another individual let go today is Jack Burrows, level designer for Marvel Rivals. "Hey folks, well, just got laid off from my job working on Marvel Rivals with NetEase. Was an enormous pleasure to work with my American coworkers who joined me in this sad culling. Just couldn't dodge that big boot, I guess, no matter how big the success of the gig. So now I'm seeking a new role and would appreciate your support. If you hear of any opportunities or just want to catch up, please send me a message or comment below. I'd love to reconnect. Open to work. Hashtag you can't win them all." What's interesting is they did win it all. This fucking slammed Overwatch into the dirt. It took it, gave it a swirly and a wedgie. This is the top dog in the hero shooter genre, and they still fucked them in the face for no reason to some of the people that were helping with R&D at the very least, which is a crucial component of making a game in the first place, by the way. But it seems like the positions were beyond that. Like, level design is not something you one and done. You're always going to need some level designers. But maybe they already have a ton at NetEase in China, so they're like, okay, we're getting rid of all of this slack over there in America. But either way, it's such a bad look. Now there's a big blemish on the success of Marvel Rivals. And Overwatch, like, they've already announced some big game changers coming to Overwatch that people are actually looking forward to. Overwatch can do something incredible here by just hiring this exact team to work on their game for them. Not only is that a PR fucking grand salami, people would go ballistic for that, but this team did prove that they can do good work. Again, we don't know exactly everything they're responsible for, but just even being tied to Marvel Rivals at this level is just a good thing to have on your resume. That's a fucking chunky one. So it would really be a win-win for Blizzard, as they're desperately trying to get Overwatch back into the conversation of being like a prominent game. It'd be good PR win because people would like to see some talented game developers get back on their feet here in the industry, like in a genre that they're clearly very good at working in. And it'd also probably just be good for Overwatch in general because, I mean, they worked on Marvel Rivals, and right now that's the bigger, better game. So, to me, it seems like a no-brainer if you're Blizzard. Apparently, the team's not very big either. I've seen reports that it was 6 people, roughly like around 6 people that were laid off. That was the whole NA branch for Marvel Rivals. So it wouldn't even be like an extremely expensive endeavor if Blizzard wanted to hire all of them for Overwatch 2. I think it might be worth it. I think that'd be kind of a power move. But anyway, I still find this to just be trash. I still just do not like this. The video game industry is in such a bad spot. you can't even have a successful game without also losing your job, apparently. It just doesn't make sense. And I know it's not exclusive to the video game industry. You see this a lot, especially in Hollywood. Hollywood does this from time to time where something is an extreme smash success, and some of the people that brought it to life get fucking scraps. They get morsels, less than that sometimes. So I know it's not exclusive to video games, but we are seeing it in a big way for this industry. It is happening all the time. So not the most positive news coming out here for Marvel Rivals, which is a real shame. And I just want to talk about it a bit. That's it. See ya.